The Denver Nuggets just lost in the second round to the OKC Thunder, and this is back-to-back years to where the Denver Nuggets have basically been a second-round exit, which is crazy to think about because we're right in the prime of the career with Jokic. I will say this right now to start off the video. Jokic, in my opinion, is the best player in the NBA. He's phenomenal. You could say Giannis, you could say SGA, and I understand where you're coming from, but I've seen Jokic go out there and have dominant games. I've seen this man have a 60-point triple-double, and they still lost the matchup. And we're going to get into reasons why. But Jokic, he's built different. He's able to finish at the rim, shoot over 2 people from 3 on 1 leg. He can easily average a triple-double for the entire season, and he's amazing at getting his teammates involved. So he's not the reason to why the Denver Nuggets have constantly been the second-round exit over the last 2 years. The problem with the Denver Nuggets, they don't have enough depth. And the outside pieces outside of Jokic, they're just not consistent enough. Now, we have to go back a couple of years ago. When they went against the Miami Heat, they had the perfect basketball team in the Western Conference. Mike Malone leading the charge as the head coach. He helped them get their only championship up to this point. KCP was a phenomenal 3-and-D player. When you needed tough threes down the stretch, he was there for you. The toughest assignment on the perimeter, he got him. He's the definition of a 3-and-D player, a great 3-and-D player on a championship team. And you have Bruce Brown. Now, Bruce Brown is not a superstar, but for his role with the Denver Nuggets, boy, he was special. Coming off the bench, giving you 10 to 15 points. Hell, he may even give you 20 points. And they needed that just in case Jamal Murray was having an off night. The same with Aaron Gordon or even MPJ. Mostly for MPJ because he hasn't stepped up in the postseason. And speaking of MPJ and the reason why KCP is no longer with this organization, and the same with Bruce Brown, your big four with Jamal Murray, Jokic, MPJ, and Aaron Gordon, they take up 80% of the cap space with this organization. Now, if we're talking about 5 to 10 years ago, that's not a problem. You can still go out there and make moves. This new CBA came in with this second apron rule, and you're screwed. So now you're depending on those 4 players to go out there every single night and to dominate. And what happens is when you go against a team like the Timberwolves, you go against a team like OKC, they're beating you up on both sides of the court. Their starters are getting rest. They're constantly fresh while Jokic is not, and the same with Jamal Murray. And when I look at MPJ, a couple of years ago, he signed a contract in 2021. Now, this was not Calvin Booth. This was Tim Connolly. When he was a general manager, he's now the general manager for the Timberwolves. He signed him to a 5-year contract, $207 million. That's a max contract for Michael Porter Jr. MPJ is a one-dimensional player, and I don't mean this in a hateful way like I hate MPJ. He's an amazing human being. When I look at MPJ, he's not a 3-and-D player. He's getting paid this much. He needs to do more than just hit pull-up threes and just hit tough jump shots from the mid-range. He's not good at getting his other teammates involved. Sure, he's a solid rebounder. He can average 7 to 8 rebounds a game. But in the postseason, he doesn't step up. Even against the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals, he did not play well. He's out there, he's shooting them out of games instead of shooting them in games, and they need him to hit those tough shots. He wasn't able to do it against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He wasn't able to do it against the Timberwolves back last year, and the same against the Clippers. It's the reason why they're going to a 7-game series year in and year out, it seems like. And he's been the player I look at the most in the starting lineup, and I say you may be the worst player in the starting lineup for the Denver Nuggets out of the starting 5. And that's not a hot take. His shooting percentages are terrible. And I know that he was dealing with a shoulder injury against OKC. We've seen him healthy in the playoffs, and he still has to come up big time for this organization. And when you lost KCP and you lost Bruce Brown, you're really depending on MPJ to take that next step forward. Now, his contract runs out 2026, 2027. Then you can move on from him. You gave Jamal Murray as well a huge contract extension, $208 million for 4 years. You can say that he rightfully earned that contract, but at the same time, we've seen him be inconsistent in the regular season. He hasn't been as consistent as he once was before he's dealing with that knee injury. And Jamal Murray was big time in the finals a couple of years ago, so I really can't come out and hate on that move. But when you're paying MPJ Jamal Murray and Jokic this much money, you're going to be in trouble long term. And the same with Aaron Gordon. And I will say this with Aaron Gordon. Shout out to him for going out there and playing in Game 7 against OKC. He was dealing with a hamstring injury. It was a grade 2 injury. Usually, it takes some time to recover from that. A month and maybe some change. But he was able to go out there and play a couple minutes, and he looked solid early on. But as the game progressed, especially in transition, you could see he wasn't able to sprint up the court. There was a lot of wide open threes, so they pulled him out the game. But Aaron Gordon has stepped up in the playoffs before. MPJ has not. He's worth his contract. But when you put this much stress on your starting five, there's going to be some major problems. That means players like Christian Braun have to step up. And Christian Braun has given you some very good production in the postseason and most definitely in the regular season. Now look at Christian Braun. He's 24 years old, averaged 15 points a game, shot 58% from the field, and shot 40% from three in the regular season. I love his game. He's a very good player, especially playing alongside Jamal Murray and with Jokic. But outside of Christian Braun, coming off the bench, you're depending on Russell Westbrook, Julian Strawther, and the same with Peyton Watson. Julian Strawther did have one good game against OKC in this series. Besides that, he didn't give you much production. And when you look at Watson, he's damn near unplayable because the shooting percentages just aren't good enough, which once again plays into the argument. You're depending on Jokic to go out there and give you 30 to 35 points a game, give you 10 plus rebounds, and to get everyone involved. It's damn near impossible. And if Jamal Murray's having an off night like how he had in Game 7, and I know that he was dealing with an illness, in Game 6, he stepped up big time, but he only had 13 points in Game 7, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and he wasn't playing very good defense either. Jokic did have 5 turnovers. I will give you that, but Jamal Murray was not that playmaker. 6 of 16 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3 is not going to get it done. While Christian Braun, 2 of 9 from 3, but 7 of 14 from the field. He had 19 points. And I can't come on here and harp on Aaron Gordon and say, where was the scoring production? This man had 11 rebounds on essentially one leg. He gave you the most that he could. But MPJ, 3 for 8 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. And you look at Westbrook, Russell Westbrook. In the regular season, you're going to get the Westbrook cycle. You're going to get a lot of great moments. Boy, you're going to get a lot of bad moments as well. He may go out there and finish over 2 people. He may hit a clutch 3. He may come away with a clutch steal. Then the next thing you know, he misses a layup or he has a terrible turnover. At this stage of his career, that's who Russ is. And he did play very well for majority of the regular season. I will give him his credit. This is not the same Russ many years ago that played with OKC and got to play with the Washington Wizards. But this series against OKC, he averaged 10 points a game, shot 35% from the field, 22% from 3, 2 assists a game, was not good enough. So he came in with those relief minutes to play alongside Jamal Murray. And when he came in favor for Jamal Murray, it just wasn't good enough. So right now, look at the Denver Nuggets, the outside forces around Jokic, they're just not good enough. When they came back from behind in that game against OKC early on in this series, it came down to Jokic being Superman and for Aaron Gordon to hit that clutch 3 down the stretch. And that was a great win. But even if they went to the Western Conference Finals, you're going to run into trouble here. This team was just one small or one major injury away from being out of the playoff hunt in the regular season. Mike Malone did a solid job, in my opinion, in the regular season, getting the most out of these players. But he played Jamal Murray a lot, and the same with Jokic in the fourth quarter because he had to. Even if they're up 10 to 15 points, you can't sub those guys out. You put in that second unit, they're going against the first unit of an opposing team that's a top 5 seed in the Western Conference 9 times out of 10. That backup unit is not good enough to hold on to that lead. So now you're putting extra stress on Jamal Murray, and the same with Jokic once again. They just ran into a better team that was better constructed in OKC, and the same with the Timberwolves last year. And it's very frustrating. I don't see a situation to where they could go out there and attach a first round pick to someone like MPJ and bring in a better scorer or bring in a better defender. That's easier said than done. And I really look at Calvin Booth. He did a great thing. A lot of people don't want to give him credit for this. He went out there, he traded for KCP, and he signed Bruce Brown. But he also let those guys walk out the door. So on one hand, he did a great job. On the other hand, you're supposed to keep those players around. but there's only so much he can do because of that contract with MPJ. And once again, I don't want to come out and make it seem like, man, MPJ is the reason why this team is in this situation. He didn't make the general manager give him that contract. Tim Connolly did. He gave him that contract. And it's starting to come back, and it's really starting to hurt the Denver Nuggets right now. The ideal situation is to go deep in free agency, get some bench players that can help you out and really play alongside Jokic. The key here is to have Jokic, Jamal Murray run that two-man game. It's elite, it's special. Move off the MPJ sooner than later. Have Aaron Gordon, and then bring in some versatile defenders on the wing. I know they're still waiting on Julian Strawther to fully develop, and the same with Watson. You have to go out there and make sure that this window doesn't close on you. Those players take time to develop. Even if they do develop, it's not a guarantee that those players are going to go out there and they're going to be top bench players. You can bring in some veterans right now to make an immediate impact around Jokic. You need to take advantage of this window that you have with this great player. And we've seen general managers do this in the past. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Denver Nuggets do moving forward. And they fired Mike Malone right before the NBA playoffs started. And I look at Coach David. He did a lot of good things against the Clippers in the first round. Jokic was a huge reason why they won that matchup. But at the same time, their defense was incredible. And they had great defensive moments against OKC. I don't want to take that away from him. Give him this job. Give him the contract extension. It should go from being interim head coach to being the official head coach. He made a lot of good adjustments. In Game 7, the game was just too far out of hand. We can't blame everything on the coach. A lot of those turnovers are just bad entry passes by Jokic. The same with Jamal Murray and with Aaron Gordon. And once again, Aaron Gordon is dealing with that injury. And at that point in time, those defensive adjustments don't matter because they're beating you in transition over and over again. They're still in the ball at half court. There's going to be this funny narrative going forward that Alex Caruso gave Jokic problems. Not really. Jokic is going into his chest over and over again, but it was a rotating zone. The players could not knock down their free throw. The players could not knock down their three-pointers. Pardon me. So he's going to the rim over and over again. Here comes Chet. He's swinging over on Alex Caruso. Here comes Isaiah Hartenstein. And Jokic is kicking the ball out to Jamal Murray, missing his threes. Kicks the ball out to Christian Brown, misses his threes. The same with MPJ. It's only so much they can do. And now you have a leaking player on the back end, and whether it's Shea or Cason Wallace, they're just coming down with it over and over again. Situations like that don't come down to coaching. You just have to make your jump shots. Jokic is putting you in the right positions here. And the two-man game with Jokic and Jamal Murray just didn't work tonight. They were sagging off Jamal Murray. They did not worry about him at all. They felt like, hey, he's not on tonight. It is what it is. Let's zone in on Jokic and make sure that he can't beat us. And Aaron Gordon, he's dealing with that hamstring injury. Hey, we don't have to worry about anyone else but Jokic right now. Let's make sure he doesn't make his threes. Let's make sure that he doesn't get to his spots. Let someone else beat us outside of Jokic. And if Jamal Murray does go out there and he starts to give us problems, we'll deal with that later. But we know that MPJ, all he wants to do is just hit a pull-up three. And that's it. And that was the series. They won 3 games in this series, but a lot of that was because of Jokic. And I stand in this camp, even if they did advance to the Western Conference Finals. The Denver Nuggets team is just not good enough to win a championship. Not with the way that this roster is constructed. They need more out of the players around Jokic. And until they can get more help off the bench and get more consistency from that wing position where Michael Porter Jr. is at in the postseason, this is going to be the ceiling for the Denver Nuggets moving forward. And I want to see them propel and move forward, but it's going to be hard to be able to do that with how this roster is constructed right now. But let me know in the comment section below how you feel about the Denver Nuggets and what should they do moving forward around Jokic. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.